We're in the prayer chapel at the General Conference, and today I have a special prayer request I'd like you to join me in praying for. I want you to pray with me for the Syrian refugees around the world. War is a horrible thing. I hate war, especially as I watch not just the news, but as I watch the people who are trying to escape from the war. Many of them have come to Western countries, but many others are stuck in the countries around Syria and Iraq. They can't go on to the West doesn't want them. They can't go back home, their homes have been destroyed and there's nothing there to go back to. And they can't stay where they are because the little countries surrounding Syria are swamped with millions of refugees. They're packed into tiny little places, many families sharing one garage or one empty part of a building or a tarp that they're trying to sleep under even in the snow of winter. But in spite of the terribleness of war, God never quits working. A number of Seventh-day Adventists have been trying to help the refugees in different parts of the world. And a few years ago, about 4 years ago, the Seventh-day Adventist Church started a small school for Syrian refugee children. In one of our countries, there are thousands and thousands of children with no education. But the school could only handle about 100 children, and yet it was a start. The staff worked diligently to try and help these kids that had seen so much and been through so much horror. Many of them had lost family members in the fighting. They had had to flee and leave everything they owned behind. But now they had a stable place, at least, to come to school day after day. They could play games with the other kids. They could listen to stories and be learning. In the afternoons, the staff didn't quit work. They went to visit the families, talk with them, pray with them, ask them questions, try to find things that they could do to help the families of these Syrian refugees. And now, 4 years later, a number of those families have begun to get together in little groups for Bible studies every week. Many of them are coming to a branch Sabbath school every Sabbath. I wanted to tell you a story about one of those families. It's a Sunni Muslim family. They came from Syria, leaving everything they had behind. They were thankful for somewhat of a roof over their heads. They were thankful to finally get their kids into our school and have a place where they could be studying. And soon they became thankful that it was an Adventist school because we don't drink alcohol and we don't eat pork and a lot of other things that they could identify with. That family has fallen in love with Jesus. They're reading their Bibles faithfully. They've given their hearts to Jesus, and they want to share what they're learning with others. In fact, the little 5-year-old boy in the family every week is bringing his neighbor children, most of them Shia, he's Sunni, they're Shia, bringing them to his home every week to tell them Bible stories. It's exciting to see even a 5-year-old sharing what he's learning. He teaches them songs and Bible stories. The family recently discovered that one of their wealthy neighbors hired an Ethiopian maid and that she was a Christian. They were thrilled because now there was a Christian living in their community. They began making friends with her, but then they were puzzled. This lady, she claimed to be a Christian, but she didn't believe like they believed. In fact, she finally admitted to them she had never read the Bible. She didn't even have a Bible. So they rushed back to their house, got their own Bibles, and came, this Sunni Muslim family, and gave a Bible study to this Christian lady. Their first study was about how Jesus loved her. It was about how God could be prayed to directly, that she didn't need a priest in order to go to God. She could go directly to God. What an exciting thing that is to think about. A Muslim family giving a Bible study to a Christian lady. You know, we could be repeating this many times if we had more of these schools, but we only have one, meeting the needs of about 100 children. when we could use dozens, we could use hundreds of these schools if we had the money and the people to open them. War is a horrible thing, but God can work through all of these circumstances to touch people's lives. This school that we started is a joint project based on funding from your faithful tithes and mission offerings, funding from special donations. And if you would like to find a way that you can help even more to help establish schools like this, to help run this school and establish new ones, go to AdventistMission.org and click on Donate. And especially, join us in praying for the millions of Syrian refugees who are still longing to know Jesus.